You know, some of the best stories, the ones about rivalries, about these hilarious lifelong grudges, you're not going to find them in a history book. Nope. Sometimes they're hiding in the most random places you can possibly imagine. Okay, so take a look at this. It's a tattoo of a jam sandwich. Now, you might be thinking, why on earth would someone get that permanently put on their skin? Well, let me tell you, this is so much more than a snack. This is a story about a feud that lasted for decades, and it involves a world-famous celebrity. No joke. So to really get what this tattoo is all about, we've got to rewind. We're going way back in time, all the way to a school playground, because that's where the seeds of this incredible grudge were first planted.
All right, here we are, the Splot School playground. You can almost picture it, right? This is basically the scene of the crime. It's the exact spot where our two main characters met for the first time and where one of them started getting their lunch stolen, like all the time.
And here they are, our rivals. So on one side, you've got the narrator's mom. She's our jam sandwich victim. And on the other side, well, it's a young Shirley Bassey. And yes, I mean the Dame Shirley Bassey. Can you believe it? They were the same age. But in this little playground drama, Shirley was the bully who, it seems, really liked jam sandwiches, especially the ones that didn't belong to her. Now, you'd think this is just, a funny childhood story, right? Something they'd all laugh about years later. But nope, that's not what happened at all. This little bit of playground theft, it was never forgotten. In fact, it grew into this huge, genuine, deeply held grudge that lasted a lifetime. And this one quote, it just says it all. Turn that cow off. That was the go-to reaction in the house whenever Dame Shirley Bassey came on the TV or the radio. There was no discussion, no debate, just turn her off. That tells you everything you need to know, doesn't it? That childhood rivalry, it never, ever went away. Okay, so this is where the story shifts a bit and gets a little more heartfelt. Because after the narrator's mother passed away, the family had to figure out how to remember her. And they didn't want just some generic memorial. They wanted something that was really, truly her. And the way they thought about it is what's so special here. A standard memorial just wasn't going to cut it. The whole point was to find something that reflected her real life, her personality, her sense of humor, and yeah, even that decades-long, totally unshakable grudge against a global superstar. So, that jam sandwich story, it just felt perfect. It was exactly right. And check this out. This is the final touch. Let's look at that tattoo one more time, but look closely. Right underneath the sandwich, there's a Welsh phrase, Ra I ni ang foio. It translates to, lest we forget. Lest we forget the stolen sandwiches, right? Lest we forget the playground rivalry. And of course, most importantly, lest we forget her. So when you boil it all down, this whole thing is about so much more than a famous singer and a sandwich. It's really about what it means to remember someone, truly remember them. The most powerful tributes, they're not always the super serious, polished ones. Sometimes the absolute best way to honor someone is to celebrate who they actually were. All their quirks, their humor, their funny little grudges. This tattoo, it's not just ink on skin. It's a perfect portrait of a real person. And that really leaves us with something to think about, doesn't it? A tribute this unique, it makes you wonder, what are the jam sandwich stories in your own family? What are those small, funny, super personal details that just perfectly capture who the people you love are? It really gets you thinking. How do we best honor the people we love for exactly who they were?